We all know that art can be beautiful, moving, thought-provoking. But did you ever think of it as like a key to unlock the hidden parts of yourself?
That's the real power of art therapy. It's about using creativity in a structured way to understand your emotions, your experiences, even the stuff you don't realize is bubbling under the surface.
And in this deep dive, we're going deep into Susan Buchalter's A Practical Art Therapy. We're going to unpack the real techniques that art therapists use. Not just what they are, but what they can tell us about ourselves.
Exactly. It's going beyond just knowing the technique. It's like, what does it mean when I do this? How does it connect to my inner world? And we'll see. Some of these are surprisingly simple, but they can lead to some pretty big personal discoveries.
So if you're listening, get ready. We're about to explore some really interesting methods, stuff you can even try yourself. Think of it as a way to look into your own inner life through art. All right, let's start simple warm-up exercises, like stretching before a workout, but for your creative side.
Right. It's about getting started, getting past that feeling of, I'm not an artist. These warm-ups help you focus, loosen up, and sometimes they even bring out thoughts you didn't know you had without the pressure of making a masterpiece.
One that caught my eye is squiggle design. You just make a scribble on paper, eyes open or closed, whatever feels right. Then you turn it around, see if any object pops out. If it does, color it in, give it a title. It seems so basic, but what can we learn from that?
The cool thing is, it shows how your mind tries to find order in chaos. You take random lines, and boom, your brain makes an image. And you know what's really neat? The object you see, the colors you use, it often reflects how you're feeling right then. It's like your inner world is influencing what you see in those scribbles.
Wow, so it's not just random, it's like a secret message from your subconscious. Another one is draw your energy. You literally draw how your energy feels. I bet some people draw like explosions while others draw something calmer, dimmer. What does that tell us?
Yeah, it's like a visual gauge of your energy. Big, bold lines might mean you're excited, maybe even overwhelmed. Smaller, fainter ones can mean you're tired and need a break. Even the type of lines matter. Sharp, jagged ones can mean tension, while softer, curved ones might mean you're feeling chill.
And then there are quick ones like tiny design, making a small figure. That's about getting your brain to think differently, right?
Totally. Working small forces you out of your usual ways of thinking. It's like a mental stretch. And surprisingly, that can help you come up with fresh ideas.
And drawing in black, only using black. That seems pretty intense. What kind of feelings could that bring up?
Black has a lot of meaning, right? Sadness, grief, but also power, mystery. How you use it, the shading, shapes, it gives clues about your emotions, maybe even stuff you haven't fully processed yet.
Then there's color and shape. Pick a color that matches how you feel, cut a shape out of it, stick it on another colored paper that's your overall mood. It's like a mood board, but more personal.
Exactly. It's a visual way to check in with yourself emotionally.
Yeah.
You choose colors, make a shape, put it on a contrasting background, and then thinking about those choices, why this color, why this shape, that's where the self-discovery happens.
Okay, so we've got picture completion, adding to an existing drawing. I wonder what kind of drawings they use. It feels like whatever you add shows where your mind naturally goes when something's unfinished.
Exactly. It's like, here's a starting point, now what? Do you complete it logically or go wild? It shows how you approach new situations, how you adapt to what's already there.
Then straight line drawing, making a whole picture with only straight lines. That sounds like a puzzle, and it probably makes you think abstractly.
It definitely pushes you to be creative. You have this limitation, straight lines only, so you got to get inventive to show objects, ideas. It's great for focus, for thinking outside the box, literally.
This one's interesting. Tearing and sticking. Tear paper into shapes, glue them together to make a design. Seems very hands-on, maybe even therapeutic just in the tearing part.
Yeah, the physical act of tearing can be a release. Then you shift to building something new from the pieces.
Yeah.
For people in long-term care, this can be a good way to express themselves, something to focus on over time.
Household object design is cool. You draw an everyday object that has a memory or feeling attached to it. Like they gave an example of a tea bag reminding someone of a nice visit with a friend. It's finding meaning in the mundane. What do you think about that?
It makes you realize how much emotions are tied to the things around us.
Yeah.
That tea bag isn't just a tea bag anymore. It's a symbol of that connection, that feeling. It's a tangible link to your personal past.
Just two more quick warm-ups. Dot picture, making a design with dots. That's got to be good for focus, maybe even a bit meditative. And spiral drawing, tracing a spiral, which I can see being calming and good for concentration too.
They're like little gateways into deeper exploration. You're playing with the basics, lines, shapes, colors, and that can often quiet the inner critic and let your true self come out.
So that's for individuals. Now let's talk murals. These are usually for groups, and it seems like they're amazing for socializing and learning to solve problems together.
Yeah, murals are like a shared space, a canvas for everyone to contribute to. You have to decide on a theme, how to work together. It forces you to communicate, to compromise, to work towards a common goal.
They mentioned a bunch of themes, like the zoo, everyone draws themselves as a zoo animal. That's a fun way to think about how you see yourself, right? And drawing your monster, which I'm guessing helps people talk about their fears, but in a less scary way.
Exactly. The themes are like starting points, a way to express your inner world on this shared canvas.
Hmm.
The animal you choose, the way you draw your monster, it all tells a story.
Other themes are more direct, like illustrating how you feel right now, or more imaginative, like drawing a fear, fantasy, wish, or even drawing where you'd least like to be. It's cool that they said people who are functioning well often enjoy making realistic scenes together.
That shows how different people connect. You know, some express themselves through symbols, metaphors, while others prefer creating something real, tangible. And both are valid.
Then there's the cartoon mural. You divide the paper into boxes, each person draws in a box, then you try to connect those drawings into a story. That's
Yeah.
got to be awesome for learning to communicate and work together.
It really emphasizes the collaborative aspect. You have to listen to each other's ideas, find creative ways to link those separate drawings. It's like making a story together, visually.
The color feeling mural is simple but powerful. Each person picks one color, uses it to make shapes or lines on the mural. It's like creating a mood, but with color.
It's all about those subtle differences within one color and how they interact on that shared space. It can really show the emotional vibe of the group.
Mural with movable cutout. Mural. The book says this can show a lot about self-image and control. And get this, people who are feeling defensive might draw objects instead of people. That's telling, isn't it?
It definitely shows how willing you are to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Being able to physically move yourself on the mural, it can help you understand, maybe even change, how you see yourself within the group.
They've also got murals with more of a task, like design a senior citizen center or create a group meal. Those seem great for learning to cooperate and make decisions together.
Right, it's about working towards a specific goal. You have to consider everyone's ideas, find solutions that work for the whole group. It's like practicing real-life social skills, but in a safe, supportive environment.
Create a city is similar. You plan and design a whole city together. Again, lots of decision making, but on a bigger scale.
It's like, what kind of world do we want to build? It can show what's important to each person, their vision for a community, and also how they handle leadership, how they contribute to the big picture.
The magazine collage mural is cool. Everyone picks images from magazines, glues them on. You're working individually, but also seeing how your choices fit in with everyone else's.
It's a more indirect way to collaborate. You still have to be mindful of the space, appreciate the different images, and the conversation afterwards, talking about why you chose certain images, how they connect. That's where the real depth comes in.
Create a person is fun. You take turns drawing different parts of a person, deciding their personality, everything. It's like building a character together.
It makes you think about what makes a person a person. And the discussion, agreeing on those traits, it can reflect the values of the group, what they consider important, what they admire.
Then we've got construction paper design. You cut shapes out of construction paper, make a design on the mural. Again, lots of problem solving, working together, but with a more abstract feel.
It's less about representing something specific and more about exploring shapes, colors, textures as a group. It can get really creative, really unexpected.
Okay, this one made me smile. Design a group pizza. Each person gets a slice, puts their favorite toppings on it. Then all the slices come together. It's a fun way to talk about personality, like, are you a pepperoni person or a veggie lover?
It uses something everyone can relate to, pizza, to encourage self-expression and build self-esteem.
Famous artist mural is cool too. You color in photocopied outlines of famous artworks, cut them out, and make a new mural with them. It's like remixing art history together.
It combines appreciating art with creating something new. You're learning about different styles, then using them as building blocks for your own group creation.
Joint scribble sounds intense. Everyone scribbles with their eyes closed, then you pick one to develop as a group. That takes trust, right? And you really have to work together to make something from a random scribble.
It's a total leap of faith, you know? You're giving up control, letting the group decide, and it forces you to compromise, to find a way to make that scribble into something meaningful together.
And lastly, for murals, there's the birthday mural, or maybe a farewell one. It's like a giant card you make for someone in the group. And the success mural, where everyone shows their achievements. These are really nice ways to build a supportive atmosphere.
They're about celebrating each other, acknowledging individual achievements. It strengthens the bond of the group, and it can be a real boost for self-esteem.
So many possibilities with murals, from deep emotional work to practical skills. Now, let's switch gears to individual drawing. This seems like where you can really connect with your art, with yourself.
Individual drawing is personal, you know, it's a safe way to express anything, your joys, your worries, everything. And sometimes things come out in the drawing that you didn't even know were there.
They mentioned markers are often preferred, bright colors, easy to use. They even said some people think crayons are too childish. It's interesting how the art supplies themselves can affect how someone feels.
Definitely. Markers feel more grown up, maybe more serious, can make people feel more comfortable expressing themselves.
One technique is just spontaneous drawing. Choose your stuff, draw whatever comes to mind. It's total freedom.
Pure self-expression.
Yeah.
What you draw, the colors, the style, it's all a reflection of what's going on inside in that moment. Draw your family. That's a classic. You can learn so much from those drawings. Family dynamics, how close people feel, how they see their role in the family. And they even said for older people, it can show how those dynamics have changed over time.
Yeah, it's a window into the family system. The size of the figures, who's close, who's far away. It all tells a story.
Draw your ball and chain. That's a powerful image. You literally draw what's holding you back. It's facing your obstacles head on, right?
It makes those internal struggles real, something you can see and talk about. The size, the weight of that ball and chain, it shows how heavy those burdens feel.
Draw your barrier is similar. You draw what's blocking you. There are even examples in the book. One person drew a brick wall, scared to take it down. Another drew their disability. Those are really moving examples of how art can express what's hard to say.
It's like giving shape to your fears, your limitations. And sometimes just seeing it on paper can be the first step to understanding it, maybe even overcoming it. Group drawing pass. Not a lot of detail on this, but it sounds like drawing together. And then draw your best friend, exploring those important relationships.
Drawing together, even without specific instructions, can be a powerful experience. And drawing a best friend makes you think about what you value in those close connections.
Yeah.
What makes them special?
Then we have ones about parents. Draw your mother. It can be anything, abstract, realistic, even a memory. That can bring up a lot. The mother-child relationship is so complex. And draw yourself in the role of mother-father. That's got to be interesting for older folks, reflecting on their parenting years.
Those drawings tap into deep emotions, those early bonds, how we see our parents, how we see ourselves as parents. It can be a way to process the past, to understand where we are now.
Or our relationships. Draw your children, grandchildren, and draw a picture together this time, working in pairs, focusing on cooperation.
Drawing with someone, you have to communicate, compromise, make decisions together. It's a microcosm of any relationship, really.
This one's cool. Draw how you used to be how you are now, or past, present, future. You can even use folded paper or separate sheets. It's like seeing your own evolution.
It's a visual timeline of your life. You know, it can show how far you've come, where you're stuck, where you want to go.
A safe place, drawing your sanctuary. That's beautiful, creating a place where you feel strong, at peace.
It's like giving yourself a visual reminder of that inner strength, something you can call upon when things get tough.
This one's interesting, drawing on transparent paper. It's about how transparent or opaque you make the drawing and how that relates to your feelings, how much you reveal to others. What can we learn from that?
It makes you think about those boundaries, you know? How much do you let people see? How comfortable are you being vulnerable?
Draw a fence. That's about personal boundaries, literally. How big is it? How strong? Where is it placed? Those boundaries are so important for our well-being.
The fence is like a metaphor. Is it tall and imposing or low and welcoming? It can show how you protect yourself emotionally in relationships.
There are a few mentioned briefly, like draw a person test, house tree person test, your first job. These seem more like psychological tests, right?
Yeah, those are used to assess personality, emotional state. They have specific ways to interpret them. In art therapy, they can be another piece of the puzzle, you know, along with everything else.
Draw a garbage can. Now, this is interesting. It's about wanting to get rid of problems, negativity. The size and placement of the can can even show how strong that desire is.
It's letting go visually. That garbage can is like a symbol of what you want to throw away.
Mm.
And how you draw it shows how much those problems are weighing you down.
Draw the last time you laughed. That's a nice one. Focusing on joy. Good memories.
It's a reminder of the good stuff. When you're feeling down, remembering those moments of laughter, it can really lift you up.
Draw your favorite vacation, tapping into those relaxing, fun memories.
It's like taking a mental vacation through art. It can bring back those positive feelings, that sense of freedom and escape.
Draw your aches and pains. This one seems especially helpful for older people to express their physical discomfort and maybe even find ways to cope.
Sometimes it's hard to put those feelings into words. Drawing them can be a way to communicate, to share that experience with others. And in a group, that shared understanding can be really comforting.
Draw yourself as an animal, another classic. It's all about symbolism, what qualities you see in yourself or maybe wish you had.
The animal you choose, the way you draw it, it often reveals things you might not even be aware of. It's like, what part of the animal kingdom do you identify with?
Draw a wish and draw a rainbow. Those are about dreams, hope, looking towards the future.
Visualizing those desires, that hope, it's so important, especially when you're going through a rough time. That rainbow, it's a symbol of brighter days ahead.
Self-portraits, and then another one where you compare your self-portrait to how others in the group see you. That's got to be eye-opening, seeing yourself through different eyes.
It's all about self-awareness, understanding how we present ourselves to the world versus how others perceive us. It can be a real learning experience.
Draw a present for another group member, and draw yourself a present. That's about understanding what you want, what others want, building empathy.
It makes you think about others, their needs, their desires, and it can strengthen those connections within the group.
We've got another draw a picture together, again in pairs, emphasizing that teamwork. And prompts that focus on the past, like draw the first time you met your husband, girlfriend, etc., past relationships. Draw a phone call that you will never forget. Draw a move, recent or in the past.
It's revisiting those important moments, those relationships that shaped us. Sometimes seeing them visually can help us process those experiences, understand how they still affect us today.
And some that are all about change. The future. Draw change, draw life if you were well. That second one is especially powerful, imagining a positive future for yourself.
It's about setting goals, envisioning a better life. It can give you something to work towards, something to hope for.
Containing one's anxiety. That's an interesting concept. You draw your anxiety as something contained, like in a box. It's about gaining control over those overwhelming feelings.
Anxiety can feel so big, so out of control. But when you draw it as something contained, it somehow feels more manageable.
Create a utopia. That's fun. Designing your ideal world. And tracing one's hand, using your own hand as a starting point for thinking about your potential, your path in life.
Creating a utopia shows your values, what's important to you. And tracing your hand, it's like, here's your starting point. Now where do you want to go? What can you achieve with this hand?
Taking a risk, thinking about stepping outside your comfort zone. And spelunking cave exploration, that's guided imagery.
Yeah.
Then you draw the cave and how you felt inside. It's like exploring your own inner world, right?
Guided imagery is powerful. It can bring up things you didn't even know were there. And drawing that cave, it's a way to process those feelings, to make sense of them.
These ones are pretty direct. Feeling judgments, you actually draw emotions. My needs and desires, separating wants from needs. Attitudes toward others, drawing someone you love, hate, admire. It's all about getting specific with your feelings.
It's about recognizing those emotions, those complex relationships, making them more conscious so you can understand them better.
Hospital stay, drawing that experience, which can be helpful for processing it afterwards. And transformation, working with partners, where you actually change the ending of a bad dream through drawing together. It's like taking control of your fears.
Even if it's just symbolic, changing that story, it can be empowering. It can show you that you have the power to change things.
We've got some more drawing prompts about the past and present, drawing significant events, old and new. Draw your ticket, symptoms, that's about whatever's bothering you right now. Draw your family tree, draw yourself. Climbing mountains, that's a good one for thinking about your life's journey, the ups and downs.
It's connecting the dots, seeing how the past led you to where you are now. And that mountain, it's a powerful image of overcoming obstacles.
Childhood exploration, drawing those early memories and seeing how they relate to who you are today. And transformation, taking a shape and making it into an object. It's about our ability to adapt, to change.
Our childhood experiences, they shape us in so many ways. And that transformation exercise, it reminds us that we're not fixed. We can always evolve.
The maze, using that image to explore how you solve problems. Draw a tornado, how you feel about yourself, about stress.
The maze is like life,
Right.
full of twists and turns. And the tornado, it's that feeling of being swept up out of control. How you draw it shows how you cope with that.
Last few for drawing. Pie chart, dividing up your feelings, literally. And draw with your less dominant hand. That's an interesting one. Using the other side of your brain.
The pie chart helps you visualize those different emotions, how much space they take up in your life. And drawing with your non-dominant hand, it can be a real challenge, but it can also lead to some cool discoveries.
Okay, so much for just drawing. Now, there's a section on advertising, which seems like it combines drawing with more conceptual thinking.
It's taking those artistic skills and applying them to something more practical, more problem-solving oriented.
TV storyboards, commercials. This is cool. You design a commercial for a product that you think would make the world better.
It's like, what does the world need? What solution can you come up with? It encourages creative thinking, and it can even be inspiring, thinking about how to make a positive impact.
Logos. You design your own personal logo. It's all about how you see yourself, how you want to present yourself to the world.
It's like a visual representation of your brand, your essence. What are your core values? What image do you want to project?
Advertising. Developing a product. This one takes it further. You come up with a product and then create a whole campaign to sell it. That's a real world challenge, right?
It combines creativity with marketing savvy. You have to come up with a good idea, then convince people that they need it.
Cartooning, telling a story through a series of squares. It's a fun, accessible way to express yourself, either individually or as a group.
It's a great way to organize your thoughts, to tell a story visually, and the cartoon format. It can make even serious topics feel less intimidating.
And lastly, group television set construction. You make a TV set out of cardboard, then use it for role-playing, especially for kids and teens. That's awesome for social skills, imagination.
And building a world together, then acting out stories within that world. It's creative, it's social. It's a great way for young people to explore different roles, different emotions.
Next up, painting techniques. They talk about how painting can be really freeing, especially watercolor. Good for people who are very rigid or afraid to express themselves, but also that the looseness of paint can be tough for people who like control. It's a good point, isn't it?
Yeah, paint can be unpredictable. For some, that's scary. For others, it's liberating. It really depends on the person.
Mixing paint, they talk about how experimenting with colors is like making changes in your life, making choices.
It's a metaphor for personal growth, You take these separate colors, blend them, create something new. It's like integrating different parts of yourself.
Marble painting, that's fun. Rolling marbles dipped in paint across paper. It's more about the process than the end result, just letting go and seeing what happens.
It's playful, it's unexpected. You don't have to worry about making something perfect. Just enjoy the experience.
Finger painting to music, that's gotta bring back childhood memories. Music, paint, movement, it's a full sensory experience.
It can really tap into those deep emotions, those early memories. It's like a different way of accessing your inner world.
Spontaneous painting, just like spontaneous drawing, but with paint. They said acrylics are popular because they're easy to use.
It's about expressing yourself freely, in the moment. And acrylics, they dry fast, they're versatile, so you can really experiment.
Sponge painting, using sponges to apply paint, and paint and swirl. They actually use whipped cream and food coloring on paper. That's creative and probably messy.
These are all about exploring different textures, different ways to apply paint. And that whipped cream one, it's a reminder that sometimes things are fleeting, just like our emotions.
Now on to collage techniques. Collage is all about texture, using different materials. And they mentioned how choosing and arranging those materials can be really helpful, especially for people with depression who might have trouble making decisions. They even said older people often prefer glue sticks, which makes sense, easier to handle.
It's engaging a different part of your brain, that tactile sensory part.
Yeah.
And the act of choosing, arranging, it can be empowering, especially for someone who's feeling stuck.
Design a face collage, that's an interesting one, focusing on self-image.
It's about how you see yourself, literally. What features do you emphasize? What materials do you choose? It can be very revealing.
Then there's mixed media collage, using all kinds of stuff, anything goes. It's like expressing yourself through whatever you can find.
Total creative freedom. It's
Yeah.
about finding what speaks to you, what helps you convey your feelings.
Tissue paper collage, tearing or cutting tissue paper, gluing it down. It's a good one for problem solving. And they even talk about how the colors of the tissue paper can have meaning.
It's delicate, it's layered, it's about building something slowly, carefully. And those colors, they can represent different emotions, different aspects of yourself.
Magazine collage. Self-portrait. This is cool. You find images in magazines that represent you. It's like creating a visual autobiography.
It's a different way to think about self-portraiture. You're not drawing yourself, you're finding images that resonate with you, that capture your essence.
Felt shapes collage, gluing felt shapes, talking about what you created and how you solved problems along the way. Felt is a nice material, very tactile.
It's soft, it's colorful, it's easy to work with. And the discussion afterwards, it's about the process as much as the product. How did you approach the task? What challenges did you face?
Catalog collage, wants and needs. That's a good one for exploring those desires.
It makes you think about what you truly need versus what you just want. And the act of choosing, cutting out those images, it can bring those desires into focus.
Then we have memory collage and music-inspired collage. Music and art, they go so well together.
Music can evoke such strong emotions.
Yeah.
And translating those feelings into a collage can be really powerful.
Words as illustrations of feelings, pasting down words that evoke something in you, then illustrating them. It's like giving those words a visual form.
It's bridging the gap between language and art. And those words, they can be anything, provocative, inspiring, whatever sparks something in you.
Touch boxes. This is interesting. You make these mini environments in shoe boxes, exploring different textures, emotions.
It's like creating a world in a box, a sensory world. And it can be really calming, just exploring those different textures, those tactile sensations.
We've got more collage prompts. A collage of feelings, a collage of another group member. That's a good one for empathy, trying to understand someone else.
Collage is such a versatile medium. You can use it to express your own feelings or to try to understand the feelings of others.
Life experience collage, arranging pictures according to importance. Inner body collage. What are you feeling inside?
It's a way to make those internal experiences tangible, to give them a visual form.
Self-representative box collage, decorating a box with images that represent you.
It's like creating a personal shrine, a 3D representation of yourself.
Self-awareness collage, showing your true self versus your ideal self. That's a powerful one, isn't it?
It can be a real journey of self-discovery, Seeing those two images side by side, it can make you think about who you are, who you want to be.
And more collage prompts. Calming collage, finding images of peace, serenity.
It's like creating a visual oasis, something to look at when you need to feel calm, centered.
Create a planet, designing a whole new world.
That's a great one for imagination, for exploring different possibilities. What would your ideal planet look like?
Popsicle stick collage, using those to make designs. I bet some people go wild with it, others are more careful.
It's interesting how people approach the same materials, Some are risk takers, some are more cautious. It can show a lot about their personality.
Okay, next up, puppets and masks. These are all about role-playing, projecting feelings onto something outside of yourself.
It's a way to express yourself indirectly, Sometimes it's easier to talk through a puppet or hide behind the mask than to say things directly.
They mention several types of puppets. Paper bag puppets, clothespin puppets, paper cup puppets, all simple to make, but with lots of possibilities for creativity.
It's amazing what you can do with everyday materials. And for kids especially, puppets can be a magical way to bring stories to life.
Newspaper puppets using recycled materials, which is always good. And milk container puppets, they have mouths that open and close so you can really express feelings with them.
It's like giving those emotions a voice, And the instructions, they can be very specific, like make a puppet that's like you, or make a puppet that represents someone who's causing you problems. It can be very therapeutic.
Then we have masks, clay masks, shaping them, then speaking through them. That can be powerful, right? It's like taking on a new persona, but also revealing something about yourself.
It's hiding and revealing at the same time. The mask can be a way to explore different aspects of yourself.